Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight with our presentation with Princess Cruises. We are going to go to Alaska. Cruises are hopefully going to resume in the next few months. We're still trying to figure out whether Alaska is going to be possible for this year, but regardless of whether you travel in 21 or 22 or beyond, Princess has an amazing program that we're going to hear about in a few minutes. So to get things started, my name is Noam Meppen, and I am the franchise owner for Expedia Cruises. A little bit about Expedia Cruises, if you don't know about us, we are a full-service travel agency. We can manage and arrange all types of leisure travel, whether it's air, land, or sea vacations, including all-inclusive resorts, motor coach tours, vacation packages. But really at our core and our ethos is all about cruises. And we're here to talk about Cruises to Alaska tonight. Our store is located in Scottsdale, Arizona. We've been open for over 6 years. We're on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, just east of the 101 freeway. We have a lot of repeat customers that come back to us time and time again because of the great service that we provide. It's our vision, it's my vision, for us to be the best travel agency in Arizona. And we try and do that every time for our customers by being their advocates and advisors throughout the planning process. So when they're first selecting a destination that they want to travel to, or they're making their arrangements, making all the details around their travel, their excursions, their flights, their transfers, everything, we're here to help provide them amazing service and plan out all of the details so that they have the best possible trip. And it's important to note, because we're talking about Princess and we're talking about Alaska, most of the consultants on my team, and I have 24 consultants on my team who help customers plan their trips, they've completed Princess's highest level of certification. They're Princess Commodore advisors, and most of them have traveled to Alaska, and in some cases, like me, more than once. So we're more than capable of planning Princess vacation for you. There's some pictures of my consultants and myself traveling to Alaska on Princess, and we know it very well. We're huge advocates of Princess, and we would love to help you plan your Alaska adventure with Princess. So with that being said, now that my little commercial's over, I'm going to be more than thrilled to pass you along to Larissa from Princess Cruises. She knows Alaska probably better than I do, and I'll be back at the end of the presentation to tell you about the booking offers that we have right now. So Larissa, please take us to the 48th state.
That sounds good.
State, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thanks, Noam. Thanks for inviting me tonight to talk about Alaska. I absolutely love Alaska. And this presentation is primarily focusing on Alaska for 2022. 21, as you well know, we're still kind of waiting to hear what's going on, thanks to lovely COVID-19, which has definitely changed a few things in our lives. But we're going to plow forward and have a look at the great land. And, you know, most important of all, I think, given just the time that we've been going through, everything in 2020, and maybe a lot of you experienced some stoppage in your vacation back in 2020, and hopefully you had your travel advisor that you could call for moments when you needed assistance with a booking or rebooking. And I really love this slide because I think it fits perfectly into the world that we've been living. And it's just keep calm and call a travel advisor. And I can't stress this enough, how important it is to have your Expedia Cruises advisor there for you when something does go wrong. They know the industry, they know who to call, and they are definitely there to help you through the booking process, rebooking process, maybe booking again, because we've seen a lot of that happening. So this is me. Well, not quite, but this is how I feel some days in the industry. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think the most important thing is to look forward and anticipate that next vacation that is coming up. And I think that is where we do derive a lot of our happiness from, is the planning of the vacation with your agent, and just the anticipation of it. And I think we all need that right now more than anything. So I urge you to start looking ahead. You know, maybe it's summer 21 or beyond, or into 2022, but start having a look and start planning and anticipating for that next holiday. I just want to say, on behalf of the more than 30,000 crew, officers, and shoreside employees like myself around the globe, we just want to say a heartfelt thank you for continuing to sail with Princess Cruises. Thank you for, you know, being here tonight to listen about Princess Cruises for an Alaska vacation as well. I can honestly say that our crew is really getting antsy to get back out there and serve all of our passengers on board the ship. So we look forward to when we can welcome everybody back on board. We do have a lot of past passengers with Princess, so a big thank you to them, in particular our elite passengers. You can see on the screen, 2021, we're estimating over 160,000 elite passengers. So that's people who've sailed more than 15 plus cruises or 151 plus days with Princess. So again, we thank you and look forward to when we can come have you back on board one of our ships. Now, with that in mind, I just wanted to show a couple of slides, because this is something I get a lot of questions about, just about the health and safety once we return to service. So just letting you know that this continues to be in development. So this is ever evolving. We're working very closely with the CDC, and working to make sure that cruising is going to be both safe for our passengers and, of course, for our crew as well. So again, these health and safety standards are in the works. You can also go to princess.com and see what our safety measures are. So all of this information is on there as well. So obviously I'm going a little too quick probably for you to read it all tonight, but just let you know, on princess.com you can see this information. So why do we cruise? This is certainly the reasons I cruise. It's the opportunity to connect with loved ones. I think cruising with Princess is great for families. We did birthday celebrations, family travel. It is a great opportunity to connect with family, and of course, the opportunity to see destinations all over the world. At Princess Cruises, we truly believe that we are the destination leader. We can take you all over the world, and the opportunity to meet new people as well. So hopefully you have that opportunity when you're on board our ships. So when you do sail with us, when we return to service, one thing you're going to notice is that all of our ships will have the medallion. So they will all be medallion class vacations. You can see a little picture there of the medallion. So this wearable device simply just replaces the cruise card. So in its simplest form, it gets you on and off the ship, opens or unlocks your stateroom door, and then allows you to purchase things on board the ship hands-free. So that's in its simplest form. Also expedited boarding, if you're what we call ocean ready, meaning you've done all your pre-check-in. You can see a picture there of the keyless stateroom entry. Whatever you need delivered, you can see in the picture, they're having a cocktail delivered by the pool. You can go on to your device, your phone, your iPad, go ahead and just order yourself a drink and it'll be brought to you. So you don't even have to get up from your chair. The other unique features, we have something called the Wayfinder. So this is what helps you navigate around the ship. And then it says, find your friends. This is something called Shipmates. So you can actually find your friends, family, husband, wife, wherever they are on the ship. So you'll be able to actually see that from the device. And then you can also send them a message to say, hey, I see you're up on deck 10, I'll be there shortly. So that's kind of the neat features of the medallion class, or the medallion itself, I should say. We are going to have a few enhanced features, following everything with COVID. The touchless embarkation, of course, we already have staggered arrivals, but that will probably be enforced a little bit more. New passenger safety drill protocols, so we're not all gathering together in one place. A health questionnaire, some virtual check-ins, touchless payments, which we already have. And then I don't have too much information on this one yet, but real-time visibility into venue capacity. So if you're thinking of going to the Princess Theater, you'll be able to see what the capacity is like before you decide if that's where you want to go see a particular show. So as I mentioned, when our ships come back into service, they will all be medallion enabled. You can see the ships that are already activated, but then coming soon, you can see the list of the other ships. So the other ships, again, when they enter the water, will all be medallion enabled, including the Discovery Princess, which is now coming out in the spring of 2022. So that's just a little heads up about the medallion. So now on to Alaska, and I can honestly say I don't think anybody else does Alaska better than Princess. We have been up there for over 50 years. We take more guests up to Alaska. More guests choose Princess for Alaska than any other cruise line. We've won the Travel Weekly Award 13 times, and you can see #1 recommended brand by travel advisors 19 straight years. So we are very proud of those accomplishments. And again, over 50 years, sailing the Great Land, our exclusive medallion class experience, which I already mentioned. And then, of course, we have our top-rated cruises, and then our in-depth cruise tours. And I highly recommend that you do take a look at our cruise tour options. So that's the combination of the cruise plus the lodge experience up in Alaska. The nice part about doing it with Princess is that we own and operate our own lodges up in Alaska. So you're really going to have that consistency of service throughout your entire trip. And that land tour you can do pre-cruise, or you can do that post-cruise. So you can decide which direction you would like to do that one. Also on board, we have our award-winning programs on board. We have really try to have an immersive experience for you when you go to Alaska when we talk about our onboard programming. And I'll go into a little bit more detail about this very shortly. And then we have a great relationship with Discovery Communications, and we have some very unique shore excursions that we have developed in conjunction with them to offer you up in Alaska. And then we're great for groups of all ages. And that's one of the nice parts about family cruising, is that Alaska is a great destination to take the family. So I highly recommend. There really is something for every age on our Alaska cruises. So I really encourage you to take a look at that. So how to visit Alaska with Princess? We've got a number of different options. We have round trip cruising of the Inside Passage, and then we do have our one-way cruises, which are called the Voyage of the Glaciers. And it's these particular cruises going northbound from Vancouver or south from Whittier. It's this cruise that lines up with our lodge experience, should you choose to do that. So again, you can see all of Alaska with our cruise tour. That's cruise plus train plus the lodge experience. So a little bit more about the itineraries. Our Inside Passage options, 7 to 14 day options. You could do the Voyage of the Glacier cruise, a round trip. So just sail north 7 days and come right back the next 7 days. So that might be an option for you. So these inside passage sailings are to from Seattle, Vancouver, and San Francisco. You get glacier viewing experiences, of course, the opportunity to cruise the inside passage, and of course the most popular southeast ports of call, Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan, as you can see on the map on the screen there. So you can see you still do get inside passage cruising on these particular itineraries as well. The one-way cruises that I was talking about, the Voyage of the Glaciers, so 7 days between Vancouver and Whittier, you do get 2 glacier viewing experiences on these itineraries. So Glacier Bay National Park is included, and then depending if you're traveling north or southbound, you'll have Hubbard Glacier or College Fjord, both of which are stunning, in addition, of course, to Glacier Bay National Park. You do get a little bit more inside passage cruising on this particular cruise. You cruise through the Gulf of Alaska as well, in addition to those 3 ports of call of Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan. So you can see on the screen, you do get just a little bit more inside passage cruising there, and then up through the Gulf of Alaska. And then again, not until, I think, until you get up into Whittier and then get into the heart of Alaska do you really get to see what it's all about. So I did want to show a slide of just a quick meet the 2022 Alaska fleet, just to give you an idea of what's on tap. So the Voyage of the Glaciers, the Grand Majestic Sapphire, inside passage out of Seattle, Emerald, and the Discovery, which will be our newest ship. And then inside passage, either San Francisco or Vancouver, Sapphire, Grand and Majestic, or Ruby, so depending on which itinerary you choose. So we do have quite a bit to choose from as far as the fleet goes. Our onboard programming that I briefly touched on is called North to Alaska. And I think this is one of the biggest differentiators and reasons that a lot of our guests like to choose Princess. Is because of the programming that we do have on board. You have an opportunity to meet real Alaskans on board, from lumberjacks. You can see pictured there on the top left. We do an authentic axe throwing competition on board with selected guests from the audience even. We've got our incredibly fresh Alaskan seafood available in many of our outlets. And then, of course, we have our experts on board. So we have the park rangers when we're sailing through Glacier Bay National Park. You really have an opportunity to learn a lot about Alaska while we're sailing. So we have our park rangers on board. They've got a junior rangers program for the kids, and that's one of the reasons I was saying it's so great for family traveling. So there's really good programming, including puppies in the piazza. So this is something that we do in Skagway. So this is where you'd have an opportunity to see the little sled dog puppies, and just get you can snap a photo of them as well, and just learn a little bit about their life of mushing. So I always wonder how many of these little puppies go missing, because I have a feeling they might get stuffed into the odd little backpack, but they're definitely adorable. The other thing you have an opportunity to learn about is the sled dog racing itself. And pictured here, this is Libya Riddles. This is 1985. She made history as the first woman to win the 1,049-mile Iditarod sled dog race. And she comes on board our ships in Juneau. She's been doing that actually for more than 15 years, coming on board and talking to our guests and doing a presentation. So she's quite entertaining, quite interesting to listen to her adventures up in Alaska. Also part of our North to Alaska program is something called Cook My Catch. And this is a unique program. So when you do certain shore excursions, certain fishing shore excursions, if you catch something while you're out there fishing, you can bring it back on board, and our chefs will actually cook it up for you and just serve it to you in the main dining room. And as I always like to say, if you don't like it, it's your fault because you caught it. So this is just a picture of of the program that we have. So that's quite a nice catch that that fellow made. So that's something unique that we do up there as well. So a little more about our cruise tours. Just explain the cruise plus the train plus the lodge. So you have your 7-day cruise with those 3 fantastic ports of call plus Glacier Bay National Park. And then you can add on that train experience. So you can go from the ship to Denali in 1 day. There's no other transfers. The ship pulls up and literally the train is not very far away. So you don't even have to walk very far to get onto the train itself. And then it's that 500-mile trek into the heart of Alaska. And again, this is where you're really going to see what Alaska is all about. And then combine that with our lodge experience. And every cruise tour, as you see on the screen, does visit Denali National Park. And Denali National Park is located only 1 mile away from the entrance into Denali National Park. So you're strategically placed to explore that, that park. And now here's just a quick look, a quick little snapshot of some of our other lodges. So we have the Denali Princess Lodge you see there, the Mount McKinley Princess Lodge, Copper River. You have Kenai, which is my personal favorite, and then of course our Fairbanks Lodge as well. And there's a number of different itineraries that you can do up in the region. Again, I think our most popular one is probably the Denali Explorer. That's the one that typically does spend 2 nights at the Denali Princess Lodge. There's also something called On Your Own. This is the least expensive way to enjoy the heart of Alaska. So meaning we haven't actually provided any land excursions for you. So you're literally on your own to kind of create your own tour once you get to the lodges themselves. So that might be something to look at if you're maybe a little bit more of an independent traveler. And then we have something called Off the Beaten Path, and Off the Beaten Path tours visit more of our remote lodges, which would be Copper River and Kenai. So that's a really nice itinerary. And then we have our Connoisseur, and the Connoisseur is a fully escorted land tour. It actually includes many of the meals as well. You also have the services of a tour director with you for the whole time that you're on land. So we really look after all those fine details. And I wanted to mention as well, this one is backed by popular demand. We have a 17-night Ultimate Princess Connoisseur Cruise Tour. So again, Connoisseur, you're going to have a tour director with you and many meals included. And this particular itinerary, again, 17 nights, including the cruise, features 2 nights at each one of our 5 Princess Wilderness lodges. So there's a great opportunity just to see it all in one particular trip. So I really encourage you to have a look at that as well. So just a couple of other pictures. You can see the train there that we use. The open air, there's actually an open air viewing platform on the train from which you can take some photographs, get some fresh air. And you can see on the right there, the glass domed rail cars that we use. So this is that direct to the wilderness train. And hopefully while you're there, you're also going to have that opportunity to see Denali's Big 5. So when you're staying at the Denali Princess Lodge, you have the opportunity to go into the national park. I highly recommend, if you have an opportunity, to upgrade to what's called the Tundra tour. It's a full day tour into the park, but it would give you a better opportunity to see the wildlife. Hopefully the Big 5 that you see pictured up there on the screen as well. And the other question that I get asked quite a bit is, when is the best time to go? So you can see pictured up here on the screen, May through to September is our sailing season. What we call the shoulder seasons is May or September. So you will find it's a little cheaper. We have some great pricing, some good sale pricing that is on at those times. Those happen to be my favorite time to go. Usually because I find there's a little less crowded in some of the ports as well. I particularly like the end of season because most of the shops have good sales. So if that's something that's important when you're going up to Alaska. And you can see the opportunity to see the whales. Juneau is a great location for whale watching. So if you don't have an opportunity to see them from the ship, highly recommend doing a whale watching trip in Juneau. And you can see you pretty much do have a chance to see them that whole entire time. I know this is May, June, and not a lot of rain. You know, I always tell people don't go to Alaska for the weather. Be prepared for anything. It could be 80 in May. It could be, 50 in July. You just never know. So just find a time that works for you. And then hopefully, if you do decide to maybe go in September, you might even have a chance to see the Northern Lights when you go up there as well. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I don't have a slide on it, is our Heart of the Rockies plus rail tour. So this is an itinerary where you can start in Calgary, do 2 nights in Banff, 1 night in Lake Louise, 1 night in Jasper, and then you board the Rocky Mountaineer, which is a train that travels by daylight. So you'd go from Jasper to Kamloops, stay in an overnight hotel in Kamloops, get back on the train the next day, head to Vancouver, and then we will take you directly to the ship for you to do your 7-day Voyage of the Glaciers itinerary. So if you've maybe done our lodge experience up in Alaska, this might be an itinerary that might be of interest to you, and a chance to see the Canadian Rockies as well. So the world is waiting for you. There are other destinations that we do besides Alaska. You can see Europe, summer Caribbean. We have some Canada, New England, and Japan. And tomorrow evening, we'll be talking about more than other North American sailings as well. So I'll bring Noam back in to talk about Best Sail Ever.
Well, thank you, Larissa. You've certainly reinvigorated my own interest in Alaska. I've been there 5 times, 2 of them on Princess, and I can't wait to go back there yet again. Hopefully it'll be very soon. So Princess has a new pricing program that they came out with about a year ago called Best Sail Ever. And the way Best Sail Ever works is that any cabin category you book, whether it's an interior, balcony, or a suite, you get your drinks included, and that is alcoholic drinks, that is bottled water, that is lattes. So it's pretty much most of the drinks that you would have on a cruise included, Wi-Fi included, and the gratuities included. So that's the normal Best Sail Ever. Now, right now, because we're in the beginning of the year and Princess really wants to get clients booked on future cruises, they're also including a stateroom location upgrade. So that means if you book a less expensive balcony, they're going to upgrade you to a better balcony location midship. And then also 1 night of specialty dining. So that's Princess's Best Sail Ever offer that's going on right now. And that includes Alaska, the Alaska cruise tours, and you get those perks, the drink package, Wi-Fi and gratuities during the cruise portion of the trip. But it also includes their other destinations like Europe and the Caribbean and Mexico and places near and far. Expedia. So because we're Expedia, we want to give you a little bit of an extra perk with your Princess booking. So on select dates with Princess, we have an additional onboard credit of $50 per cabin. That's on top of the Best Sail Ever perks. And then on certain dates, we also have special group rate pricing. So because Expedia is a big company, we block off sailing dates on certain itineraries and certain room categories, and we're able to offer you a little bit of a better price. And to add on top of that, during the month of February, so going on right now, we have an additional $50 onboard credit. So, oops, you're jumping ahead, Larissa.
There we go, I know.
Additional $50 onboard credit for certain itineraries for travel this year to the Caribbean and to Mexico. So call your Expedia consultant or call our office tomorrow, and we're happy to help you figure out which dates you can pick to maximize all the offers, but we really think that Alaska is the place you should go. Okay, so next slide.
And I was just going to say, I think that 17-day ultimate Alaska itinerary is going to be a big seller. So
that's a great point, Larissa. So that's the 10 nights.
Book that one early.
Right. That's 10 nights in the lodges in Alaska on land, and then the 7-night voyage of the glaciers. So book that one for next year. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Princess also, actually, I think you have a slide about the military benefit. You want to go to there first? I think it's the next slide. So Princess likes to honor veterans and active duty. So whether you're in the US or the Canadian military, and I think this also applies to UK and Australia, you get up to a $250 onboard credit. You just have to provide proof of your service. And depending on the length of the sailing, up to $250 per passenger that serve in the military. So if you have a husband and wife and they're both veterans, they could both get that onboard credit. So that's available for any cruise that Princess offers. Okay, so we're going to wrap things up.
I'm going to go back to that one.
Yes, so we do have a presentation tomorrow with Larissa, and we're going to cover non-Alaska destinations in North America. So Hawaii, Mexico, Pacific Coastals, Caribbean, and Panama Canal. And we do have an incentive. If you attend both presentations, the one tonight and the one tomorrow, we're going to pick one person to win a $100 Target gift card. So it's an incentive for you to tune in tomorrow at 6. And then we do have some upcoming travel talks in March with Globus, and then a few with Royal Caribbean. And you can register the same way you did for tonight's event at www.cruiseshow.us.
Can I win the gift card too?
We'll see. We'll have a negotiation later.
Okay.
Okay, so with that being said, I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Larissa, for taking us to Alaska. We hope to see you guys here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And until then, stay safe and have a great evening. Thanks, Larissa.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay.